Well, hello everyone. Happy Friday and welcome to Velocity Online Racing's coverage of Championship Friday and Round 5 of Season 3 of the VOR Iconic Series. As today we come to you from the world's most famous racecourse, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, for the ALZ.org Indianapolis 200. Joining me in the booth, as always, all season long, my good pal, and right now currently third in the points in the IndyCar Oval Series, Kyle Clinworth. Clindy, back to Indianapolis, where we're going to be spending at least a couple races here in the upcoming weeks for these DW12s here. But it's a bit of a treacherous, looking at everyone wrecking on qualifying, bit of a treacherous run with this Q set.
Well, I think the Q set is meant to test the drivers, so that way the pack race that will follow after is less of a crapshoot, if you will. I think Julian really likes to give you a really sketchy or really fast, trimmed out qualifying set, so that way you earn your spot at the front of the pack of these drafting type races that he set up. However, there's a bit of a twist. The track has generated at least 15 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than he expected, so we may see some tire degs, some sliding lines, and some higher lines come into play and be faster than we might anticipate.
All right, and the whiteboard is working.
Ooh, we're gonna teleprompt?
Yes, number one. Okay, let's get today's starting lineup in here real quick, as we'll go ahead and clear off what we got on the screen and cue up the music, and then we'll get it in here for the starting lineup, and just in time to go 80 laps here at Indianapolis. This should go by pretty quick, depending on how much racing room these guys want to give each other. If they're not going to give each other a lot of room, then we might be in for some caution laps here. But let's get into this. And here is the starting grid on row one. O'Sullivan, Liam on the pole. And then right next to him on the front row is finished on the podium for the IR18 race at Gateway. That's Lucas Santos, looking to improve. No relation to the guy starting in third and our current points leader, Edson Santos. Santos looking for another championship for the Leaner Energy squad. Of course, the one was Rafi Eckert, won the first one in Season 1. Season 2 went to Julian. We'll get to him in just a second. Season 3 is wide open right now. It's between Julian and Edson. Edson lines up third. The silent assassin, Dave Stedman, last race winner, I should put it, is lining up fourth. Craig Forsyth, fifth. Julian Altena lines up outside of him on row 3. He's the other driver involved in the points championship. There he is in the number 1. Back to row 4 is Strauss, the winner of the IR18 race at Gateway. He is back in row 4 along with Salvazzi. Back in row 5, Christensen and Matty Sinclair, so one of your recruits to the series, and making their first. Is it their first CW12 start?
It is. I didn't recruit him, Julian did, but he came to me for asking for advice after he knows me and saw that I did commentary. All
right. Smart guy. Donskoy and Inch back on row 6. And Inch is sporting the ALZ.org sponsorship for the race. And then we have back in row 7, one of my ex-teammates, Robert Sadler, sporting the VOR livery again, but not the bright pink rims that I'm normally used to seeing him in. He is back in row 7 with Alexander Bonney, our beneficiary of the series. And we're getting ready to go green as they started on the short parade lap. And we are green right now. Liam O'Sullivan takes the lead.
Bit of an unsporting jump there at the start. Maybe looking to use these hot track temps to his advantage. Have everyone line up single file behind him.
Coker, I should have known that one. Doshiko, Morales, and Bree are the remainder of your field. Let's get that graphic off the screen. And we are racing at Indianapolis down the backstretch.
3 wide down the back with Bonnie Donskoy and Coker or Sadler.
Edson Santos just sticking his nose there. Actually, I think what Santos is trying to do is keep that car as clean as possible while working with this lead four to kind of pull away from Julian. But Julian, head of a train, that's going to be very fast because the second car in line and the third car in line have a lot of pace here. Of course, we got Forsyth and Silvazzi back there, so they'll bring that group up to the front pretty quickly, except Silvazzi pulling out to the inside, looking into three on the inside of, as Donskoy got a good run, and he had to check up on Forsyth, otherwise he was going to end up in the attenuator there. And now they're going to be side by side down the front stretch, but Silvazzi got to get back in line there. A little bit further back, Bonnie Inch 3 wide, along with Robert Sadler. Sadler with many, many miles at this track. Shane Coker falls back to 18th, but I think he's just letting things happen in front of him. Let things unfold. I like that strategy.
Kind of like reverse origami.
It's called the Godso strat. That's what it is you just let everything happen in front of you. Let it happen.
Let it fall in your lap.
Yeah.
Donskoy is going to be benefited by the leaders in front of him swapping lanes. We'll get a bit of a tow down the front stretch, which allows him to get by Silvazzi on the inside in one.
Man, I don't think we're going to need the gap. Everyone's going to be really close together here. Well, there's a big aggressive move by Sadler to the inside on Boney, and he's going to bring Tim Bree with him in the Sprite car. Joseph Morales wanted to come there. Jomo had to check up a little bit, running out of room. So we're seeing the big thing is people are getting runs, but then there's no place to go, and they're getting runs in weird spots, like right in the middle of the corners.
Seems like the car really gets bogged down in the middle of the corner. I don't know if that's the track temperature or the gearing. Obviously, when I ran my practice laps, I was by myself. I could tell that the car had more pace than what the aerodynamics allowed, so I knew that they'd be stuck together like this, but I can't quite pinpoint what's causing these weird shifts in momentum. And not necessarily that it's weird, it's just not what we usually see here at Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think it's going to catch some people off if they're not on their toes. Current track temperature is 112. It's ambient it's a rather comfortable 69, so it's kind of an odd combination of a cool ambient or a cooler ambient or a very moderate ambient and a very hot track right now, so we don't see that very often. Wind is not quite a factor, at least in this race, as it is in like a lot of the officials that we cover. These lead two between O'Sullivan and Santos are really slugging it out up front.
And that's Lucas Santos.
Yes, so we got two Santos up front. We have Edson Santos in P3, Lucas Santos in P1. No relation.
That we know of.
That we know of. There might be a long-lost connecting Santos in there. And Matty Sinclair is having flashing issues.
Yeah, he's looking like Ryan Campbell out there. we kid because we care. The old Fox adage.
7 of 80. Thanks for joining us, everybody, on this Friday afternoon, wherever you are. Happy Friday for our matinee weekend doubleheader at Indianapolis. DW12's on the oval. And tomorrow at 3 p.m., the VOR iR18 series will be on the road course.
Hey, Gary, if you're in Asia, it's actually Saturday morning. But whatever time it is, wherever you are, we welcome you being on the stream and watching.
That's right.
Or I guess Australia as well is probably in Tomorrowland.
I had to do a business trip one time over to China, and look at Julian making a big run up to the front. There, it gets two positions going in the 3. As to, didn't quite get the clear of the assassin, so he's going to have to fall back to fourth. But another big run in the middle of the corner. But yeah, I had a business trip to China one year, and yeah, that was weird being a whole 12 hours off from everybody else. Really weird. Almost, yeah, it was really weird. That's all I have to say. Side by side in the short shoot there by Silvazzi and Donskoy. This lead pack is kind of pulled away. We have another 3-car pack, then a single car, and then a 2-car pack with Morales and Coker bringing up the rear. I think they're kind of hoping for, or now kind of expecting a caution to happen so they can catch back up to this pack.
They're really not that far away, Gary. It could be... Oh, 3 wide for the lead.
Yeah, there it is.
The bottom.
Here it is. Julian's going to say, you know, I want this championship, and the only way that I'm going to win it is if I go to the front today at Indianapolis, move Julian to the front, and his chief rival for this championship, Santos, is back in 5th. Oh, Craig Forsyth might have got the wall there in turn 2.
Edson Santos almost got it too. I think they did a classic case of, well, actually, that was the 91 car of Donskoy, putting it in between himself and Forsyth and making him kiss the safer barrier.
Here is...
A little bit of 7 minutes of heaven that you didn't get to pick.
Oh, wow, look at this run that we're back with Forsyth riding with him, and look at the run he got just at the end of the stretch. Now, I'm not sure what type of fuel conservation is going on. What type of strategies are we looking for out there?
Yeah, so as we were going to say before we saw that 3-wide action, is that green flag pit stops here, you can make up a ton of time if you brake effectively onto pit road and get off of the access road very quickly. From the way the temperature of the track is, I would hesitate to taking no tires. I think you're going to want 4 fresh Firestones every time you come in. However, I don't believe anyone will have an issue making it 20 laps. If you make it 20 laps on fuel, you can hit at 20, 40, and 60, and then finish the race at 80. However, I think you can go a little further. So, yep,
sorry,
that's Donskoy.
Yeah,
again.
Donskoy and underneath, and actually, I think we're still riding with Forsyth. I think Forsyth actually caught a little bit of the grass in turn 1. So we're looking at 20-lap runs here then for everybody. There are
probably the most efficient, but you could go a little longer if you wanted to gamble and put yourself off sequence.
All right, well, we're about 8 laps away from first pit stops. They do get 5 sets of tires, 1 on the car, 4 in the pits, using 80% fuel capacity, which is 15.7 gallons or 56 liters in non-freedom units. We got no green-white checker, of course, because this is IndyCar, and we do not need green-white checkers. The IndyCar wave around rule is in effect, and of course a very strict pitting rule here in the VOR series and all their levels of series. Drivers are required to announce their entering and exiting pit road, and drivers are also permitted to drive no more than 3 stalls when entering or exiting their own pits, and they got to remain in the high-speed lane until they get close to their pits. So a lot of penalties get handed out when drivers don't obey that. But the track is 2.5 miles long. It's a rectangular oval. Races 80 laps, 200 miles. Pit road speed limit is 55 miles an hour. And we are now on lap 14 of 80 here for the Indy ALS, or ALZ, excuse me. Don't go to ALS, ALZ.org, Indy 200.
Is it as beautiful in real life, Indianapolis, as it is in the sim today, Gary?
I'm looking out my window right now. There's not a cloud in the sky. It is currently 78 degrees here in Indianapolis. Very comfortable.
You got me beat. We've got hurricane here, so.
Currently just following around Craig Forsyth, but everyone's, I think, just kind of patiently now in line. That's going to be an awful lot of cars coming to pit road all at once. Is there any benefit, or is there any way that someone could come, say, on lap 19 and still be able to do the rest of this race and the required number of stops?
Absolutely, and that's where I said you could maybe stretch it and try to play a caution later in the race. Is it not you're going to be staying out late to start, you're going to come in early and then go late later, because if you pit under green, you do not lose a lap here. If you pit green with a teammate, oh, we've got a car on pit road right now. Somebody's had an incident, or no.
Bonnie.
Let me see.
Alexander
Yeah,
Bonnie.
he has crashed. On lap 14, he was swap drafting with Timothy Bree. And let me see what happens.
Bree comes to the inside. This is in turn 2. And do we have a really bad execution? No, just a huge push. And I don't know where. I think he was just trying to give a lot of extra room, and he gave too much. And he bounces off Bree right in front of Robert Sadler there. Let's go back and watch from his point of view.
So Morales is committed to pit road. He's on that alternate. I'm going to pit first as soon as I know, because as long as you can go 22 laps on every run from here, you're still going to make it to the end. But if a yellow comes out before the rest of the field pits, he will inherit the lead.
Watch this right in front of Robert. Whoa! Robert still has the quick reflexes. It's been a while since we've seen him in an IndyCar.
Wide for the lead, Gary.
And we're going to go back up to the front here. Oh, my goodness! Here comes Salvazzi.
Santos and Stedman sandwich, and here comes another VOR car. It's Julian Altena. He's got a big run.
And Salvazzi going to do it. Donskoy, Dolshenko.
Julian, you weren't clear.
All that checking up has caused the Santos, Lucas that is, and O'Sullivan to kind of move away from the group. Now Julian's starting to move away from the group as they're still jockeying for position back there. So Morales on pit road, stopped at 17. He's the first to come to pit road for a scheduled stop. Boney's is not scheduled.
I think Morales actually had a big deficit to the lead group and had a slow stop. So he's actually cycled out 1 lap down. If you execute perfectly on pit road, you should come out about 2 to 4 seconds ahead of the leaders, as long as you're within a reasonable amount of distance from them to start with. I think Jomo might have been too far behind to execute the leapfrog strategy should we see a yellow here. But he will take the wave round and is not in terrible condition by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, Doshenko, Savazzi, Donskoy, these guys all just dancing on the edge up here. Here's
if I were in this race, I'd be exactly where John Christensen is. I'd be doing the God So strategy.
Doshenko and Donskoy side by side through 1. Edson Santos back to 8th. That's not going to help him in the championship. He needs to move forward. But we also know
points here. Just about where you finish.
He needs to, but he could be thinking a bigger picture. He might be thinking about going long, maybe doing an alternate strategy than everyone else. We'll see. We are lap 20.
Look out, Craig Forsyth is the car behind him, and they tangled at Gateway, and that's why he did not win last week.
Right.
Or last race.
There is someone coming to pit road. That is Dan Inch. Today's car with the host sponsor of the race. Now is probably a good time to mention, while we're 21 laps of out of 80 into this thing, the Indianapolis 200 is brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and ALZ.org. The Alzheimer's Association leads the way to end Alzheimer's and all other dementia by accelerating global research, driving risk reduction and early detection, and maximizing quality care and support. But they can't end Alzheimer's without your help. To learn more and donate, go to ALZ.org. The link is in the description. Pit stop scheduled for him, back underway. The leaders are coming up on him. He needs to hustle. Now, unlike Morales, he's going to come out with right in front of the leaders.
Yeah, Dan Inch executed much better on pit road. So, to the point where he may fight here with Liam O'Sullivan to stay at the tail end of the lead lap.
Well, maybe he can help his teammate. He has teammates to O'Sullivan. And O'Sullivan, yeah, coming to pit road. We're right with Lucas Santos. So that's going to turn the lead over to Donskoy. Now, how long does Donskoy want to follow Inch? Does he just stay behind Inch and try to extend this stint for him? Or is he actually going to try to get up there and race with them? And I think he's going to race with them. He's going to try to get around them as quickly as possible. I do not see Inch getting in the way of Julian. I see Inch probably giving way to Julian, just like that, going high into 3. Plenty of room for his teammate. Inch also knows that he's going to get this lap back as soon as these guys come to pit road. There is Donskoy coming to pit road along with Doshenko. Here comes Robert Sadler. Here comes Shane Coker. Stedman to the lead now. Well, now begs the question. I don't think we can, but I'm going to ask it anyways. I mean, can someone go 33, 33, 34? Or not 30. I'm thinking 100 lap races. Can someone go? No, they can't. Obviously, here comes everyone else. I was thinking that maybe we might get into the 30s. Here, and cars wrecking down the pit road in. That's Matty Sinclair. We don't have a good there it is. We'll do a bit of a replay here. And Matty coming in hot. Oh, and Matty, yeah, Matty just flashes out and then just net codes invisibly into the back of Strauss.
That is not.
That is most unfortunate.
Write an angry letter to your internet service provider, Mr. Sinclair.
Ooh. Salvazzi tried to get underneath Inch, but couldn't get it. Now here comes the rest of them to pit road. And I'm about to say, is somebody going to speed there? Because they all came in really hot. Craig Forsyth leading that group.
Millimeter from the attenuator.
I know, they were really tight. So it's Forsyth, Salvazzi, Edson, Santos, and Christensen. Santos, your, well, let's bring it up on the screen just really, really quick. Here's your points leader, Santos, by 10 points, overall 10 on Dojinko, Dan Inch, Strauss, Stedman, Christensen, O'Sullivan, Bill Colley, who is not with us today, and Craig Forsyth, your top 10. Those are the points.
So the lead duo on track right now will be Altena and Stedman. Let's see where they cycle out with the rest of the leaders who just pit.
I think they're going to be behind him. I think they're going to be behind him by a lot.
Oh, Santos just got ran over. Edson. Donskoy was going past and gave him a little hip check.
Well, let's check that out.
And Salvazzi will be the lead pair.
So, yeah, they're trying to come off a pit road, and they're going to come out next to that group of cars. And so Santos just comes right on up, and, oh, yeah, he was trying to go, well, I'm not quite sure Edson was at fault there. I think Edson was he was on the low line already. I'm not sure what.
Donskoy gave him the hip check.
I don't know what Donskoy was doing there.
Being friendly, saying hi.
Maybe. Maybe. Donskoy to the inside of Doshenko, side by side into the short chute, going through 4 now, down the main straight. Sullivan, Forsyth now, your lead duo.
Donskoy's been the only driver I've seen today putting his left sides on the concrete. No one else has really been that brave. And with the amount of toe that these cars create, it's not really necessary. So I hope it doesn't bite him. And I hope I haven't jinxed him. He's the only one going that low.
If you're enjoying Velocity Online's Racing's coverage of the VOR Iconic Series and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future VOR iRacing broadcasts, including tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here in Indianapolis on the road course of their IR18 Series, Signature Series for their Indianapolis road course date. Doubleheader weekend here in Indianapolis for the VOR Series, and we are just jockeying for position down this front stretch. Whew.
I think my favorite shape of cars is when you see it look like 5 pips up on a die. You've got 2, 1, 2. So in some ways you can have them gridded so they're 3 wide, 2 bricked, but only with 5 cars. Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah, there's Donskoy again. Left side's on like the very bottom of the concrete. And the reason why that's dangerous is because the concrete has a different angle of attack or a different banking angle than the asphalt. So it literally de-wedges the car. Santos really shoving it in there.
Really came in there. Oh! Doshenko.
Is that Dochenko? Yeah. Now, Altena and Stedman and Santos Lucas have all lost touch with that first pack. So the first pack only goes back to 7 cars, whereas we had 12 prior to the stops.
You kind of called it earlier as we were 3 wide down the front stretch. But you kind of called it earlier. John Christensen, you said, was in a very good spot, and he continues to be in a very good spot as he's just tailing this group right here. Christensen, a winner here in the VOR Series in Indianapolis, looking to put another win together here on the oval. Julian and the silent assassin Dave Stedman. Stedman and Julian really are going to have to work together if they're going to try to catch this group. And right now they're trying it, but they're not really getting there. Now let's get you to the gaps here.
This front pack is racing and being aggressive, but it also allows them to unintentionally swap draft. As O'Sullivan passes Santos here, these types of passes are actually faster for this lead pack than staying single file.
What? Oh, wow.
Blocking.
Okay, all right. Donskoy is blocking. That was a block. That was a block.
He's here to win, Gary.
That was a reaction to the driver behind. I thought these guys are teammates. I guess they're not teammates.
He's just saying, hey, buddy, give me a bump draft. We'll get up there.
Yeah, okay, so the rule in IndyCar racing, if you're like, hey, I don't understand what blocking is, that was a block, and you were allowed 1 offensive move or 1 defensive move to hold on to your position. So let's say Santos here decides he wants to start to snake down the backstretch. He could go to the inside, and if he wants to stay there, let's say O'Sullivan comes up and wants to try to pass him, and Santos reacts and moves up in front of Santos to block. That is blocking. So he's already used his 1 offensive or defensive move.
But the trailing car can feint in any direction they'd like
Sure.
to committing to a pack.
Now, if you're smart about it, like Scott Pruitt was, then they name the pass after you, the Pruitt fade.
And my preferred tactic when in the lead is to run as close to the middle as possible so you can cover the bottom or the top with your 1 move. It burned me this week at Auto Club. Oster put his left sides underneath the white line, and I thought he wouldn't, but he did. So I lost the lead that way, and then lost on a very ill-timed caution at Auto Club and fixed this week. But very happy with how I raced, so can't complain.
Oh, and there they go. Donskoy and Dashiko. It was a matter of time. Those two were racing each other really hard. And Julian Altena, championship over.
Oh man, they're getting spicy in the game chat.
Well, watch this again. There's a lot of netcode involved here. No, not netcode. That was bumping, and oh, that's taking out Forsyth. And Julian right in the Forsyth. Oh my goodness.
You know who had time to brake and avoid all of that? John Christensen.
Well, let's take a look from Julian's point of view. Here he is. He's going to the inside of Stedman. They're actually kind of running down that group. And here's the action in front of him. There's a lot of time here, but they're moving pretty quick. He sees it all happen. He's like, okay, I'm going to go hold my line. I can't go high. I can't go low because and then Christensen was kind of braking. He can't go low. And then right as he's going to go clear his teammate, here comes Forsyth. And day is done. That Dallara is demolished. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So now Edson Santos, really all he needs to do is finish the race, really, and he should have the championship.
Altena limped around an extra lap, so he'll be the last car to finish that could still drive, technically, after that incident.
Here comes everybody to pit road. And now we're all grouped up one more time as we are 37 of 80. Almost to the halfway point, 100 miles down, just about. Everyone coming to pit road, hitting their spots, hitting their marks.
This doesn't change the fuel strategy much at all. You should just need to go a little longer on both stints.
Oh, and O'Sullivan beating out Edson Santos. Silvazzi moves up to third. Christensen now fourth. Stedman fifth. And Lucas Santos sixth. Robert Sadler seventh. Dan Inch eighth. Shane Coker ninth. And Jomo in 10th.
Yeah, Jomo, Bree, Coker, Ench, and Sadler are all very happy to see that yellow.
No kidding.
I mean, Bree and Jomo were 18 and 20 seconds behind the leaders to begin right when that caution happened. So that's all erased now. And they should be able to keep right with the pack. I think a lot of that separation happened because they were being cautious around Maddie Sinclair's connection, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, once you break the draft in these cars, if you don't have a bigger group, you lose time every single lap. Okay,
we got time under caution here, so let's take care of some business. This is the schedule, how it's going to work out for the Iconic Series for this season. So this season was shortened to 5 races, so it's kind of like the original IRL season that was 3 races long and ended in Indianapolis. Well, this is 5 races long. It's going to end in Indianapolis, and then September 6th, they will start Season 4. We will show you that schedule more in depth. But as you see, Season 3 started off Homestead, then Texas, then Iowa, then Gateway, and then, of course, going to wrap up here at Indianapolis. Here is Season 4. As lights are out on the pace car, we're going to go green next time by. September 6th, we're right back here in Indianapolis for 200 miles, 80 laps. Then they're going to go to Nashville, then to Fontana, then to Pocono, then to Kentucky. Then they're going to go to the Legacy Phoenix, the proper Phoenix, for a 150 lapper there. Then they're going to go to Michigan, and they're going to wrap up at Las Vegas December 13th. So the way that this new schedule is working out is basically it'll be 2 races a month for these guys starting in September. September 6th and 20th, October 4th and 18th, November 1st and November 15th, December 6th and December 13th. That's how the season is going to work out. So basically it's the first week, basically, and the third week of the month is when we will typically see the DW12s, and you will join us on Fridays because it'll be at the same time. And one of the other experiments that the VOR series has been doing is their sprint series. They had a successful season 1. This is going to be season 2 now, starting September 12th, and these are running on Thursdays. And they are timed races with standing starts. So something you might want to check out if that's something you're into that's using the IR18. Getting ready to go green this time by at lap 39. And O'Sullivan has himself a big lead. I don't know what Santos is waiting for. Maybe trying to get a big run on him. We'll see. We are green back here at Indianapolis.
Coker did not get a good restart. Hopefully this trailing group of Coker, Jomo, and Bree do hold on to Dan Inch's draft, and hopefully Dan Inch holds on to Santos. Otherwise, we're going to see those four lose the draft yet again.
Coker is the admin of the North American Sim Racing League, and we will be covering their league on P1 Wednesday night starting September 11th at 8 p.m. He has two recruitment races. We had the first one. He's going to have another one coming up in August. You can check NASR on Discord. Join that league, and you can learn more about that series. But it's basically they're all ovals. It's an IndyCar oval series, and the races are not much longer than the official IndyCar oval series races. They're only about 25 laps longer when it comes to a mile and a quarter intermediate tracks, or a mile and a half intermediate tracks. So it's not a big time commitment, but it looks like it's going to be a fun league. You should check them out. He's kind of learning IndyCar as he's going as well. Back for the lead, O'Sullivan.
Stedman and Lucas Santos are working together in a tandem swap to catch the front quadruplets. I think Dan Inch is just close enough to them that he's going to get tailed along. I don't know if Bree and Jomo...
And Robert Sadler is trying to get him to work his way into the middle here, and he's going to the bottom of the racetrack in 3, and he will actually exit 3 as the leader of that group, move Sadler up to 8th. Meanwhile, back up to the front. Yeah, the NASR recruitment race is August 18th. That's actually a Sunday, and it's going to be at Kentucky in the IR18s at 8 p.m. So if you're interested, check out the NASR. We'll be covering them on P1 starting in September.
Which Kentucky layout are they?
It's going to be the new one. Oh, Bree making an aggressive move down the backstretch.
Yeah, these are a couple of angry guys back here, knowing that they had the chance to be up at the front, and just one person sleeping on the restart caused them all. Yeah,
it doesn't take much to lose the draft in these cars, and that's one of the things I wish iRacing would do. A couple of things: extend the draft envelope for these cars to match what the IR18 is, because effectively these are the IR18s. Of course, the IR18s are these. Except with the IR18 Aero Kit. It's the old DW12 with the IR18 Aero Kit on them in the real life. So I would wish they could extend the draft envelope for these guys. Also put them on the same tire model as the IR18. That would be nice. And also give the drivers access to the tools. Little by little, they've been updating these cars, but it's still in legacy status. They have a new damage model, and they've actually updated the setups in iRacing here, I think, in the last update for these cars. But for the most part, it's still pretty much whenever the IR18 came into the existence on the server, these cars have been frozen in that state since then for the most part.
Well, and if you look at the wing angle on the rear of these cars that the setup has, which is fixed, by the way, it is plowing through the air. It has negative lift, right? So if you look at your hand and you put your fingers pointed, like take your right hand and put your fingers to the left. Raise your fingers towards the ceiling. That's what the spoiler looks like.
Yeah,
normally you put your fingers down to generate downforce. These wings are generating lift to slow them down and make them.
Yeah, you can clearly see right there the underside of the wing as the cars got that head-on shot going to the short chute there. Salvazzi had the lead momentarily. Now he's swapping with O'Sullivan down the backstretch. And Santos and Stedman, I think, are making progress.
Yeah, inch by inch. Unfortunately, without Dan Ench.
I'm going to say, he's a little off the pace of that particular group, but we got two Santos out there, and we do have Dan Inch, of course, in the P7 there, all by himself.
If he were like 0.3 of a second closer to Santos and Stedman,
he'd be there.
He'd be right there with them. But
yep.
He's just outside the envelope of draft, right?
Yep.
If this were the other car, he would be able to tow them in, but it's not.
Let's get some more business taken care of while we're watching them jockey up for position up front. The VOR Iconic Series is brought to you by IFS Personal Financial Planning. IFS Personal Financial Planning specializes in helping their clients make the most of their savings with holistic financial planning that is tailored to their specific needs over the course of their lifetimes. On average, they've been working with their clients for over 20 years, helping them navigate complexities of investments, the uncertainties of markets, and the ever-changing legislative landscape. To learn more, contact Alexander Bonney at alex@ifspfp.com. Again, that's alex@ifspfp, or click on the link in the description. Fortunately, Alex is done for the day earlier than he wanted to. And looks like Matthias Strauss coming off of pit road after long repairs. Let's see how his car is tracking. Seems to be pretty straight.
All he's got to do is make up 11 laps, and he passes 4 cars.
Yeah, that's not a bad deal, actually. That might actually help him in the championship.
Stedman and Lucas Santos have done it. They have made up the gap. They now have the draft of John Christensen. And Sadler and Morales are almost to the point where they can catch Dan Ench.
Coming to 30 to go. Lap 49 of 80. Thanks for joining us. This is a Velocity Online Racing's coverage of the VOR Iconic Series. Coming to you from Indianapolis for the ALZ.org Indianapolis 200. We've completed 49, coming to 50 laps of a scheduled 80. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race, which is tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern here from the road course for the VOR IndyCar Series featuring the IR18. Christensen now starting to take a look and peeks to the inside of this group of 4 up at the front here. He's probably starting to feel that those guys in the group behind him are starting to gain. He might be thinking, you know, it's time to go.
Well, I mean, you also do the math, right? He's got 3 cars ahead of him and 30 laps to go. Pass 1 car every 10 laps, you win the race. Easy math.
Easy peasy, and we still got pit stops involved here. It's still weird to me seeing Robert Sadler out there in a car that doesn't feature hot pink rims. That was his MO back when he was. That was his MO and his trademark back when we were teammates together in my very first season of VOR. He and Oscar Fredrickson were my teammates, and our trademark was Oscar liked cyan-colored cars. I called him teal. He hated it when I called him teal, but he liked cyan-colored cars. And then Robert liked the hot pink wheels for whatever reason. I did not drive with hot pink wheels, but he did. It was easy to find him on the racetrack and designate him as different from us when we were all in identical liveries. Salvazzi to the inside of O'Sullivan and back to the lead.
Please forgive me, Gary. I spoke too soon. Lucas Santos and Dave Stedman almost caught the draft of the 4 leaders, and as soon as they did, the 4 leaders decided to kick it into higher gear. Leave, put an extra half second between them.
Christensen's the only driver of that group, just noticing going through the graphics here, that he's the only driver of that group that has not led any laps. He's just patiently hanging on there. Stedman's been very patient as well. Now Stedman, there's a lot of room between Stedman and Santos. Wonder what happened between those two that caused that big separation. We'll bring up gaps now because gaps seem to be a little bit more pronounced out there. Now Stedman...
No, Stedman lifted intentionally down the front stretch to build a bigger run down the backstretch with the swap. They're just taking bigger swings at it. He did the same thing here. He lifted going in a straight line. Try to build the biggest run he can off of Lucas Santos to pass him down the backstretch.
And 1.4 to that group in front of him. You see on the tree right there. That's 1.5.
I wonder if the lap where they were within 1 second, the lead car hit the dirty air in front and then just washed and pushed up the track just a little bit, and that erased all of their momentum.
All these guys, all these drivers, everybody that's currently on the racetrack, I don't think there's anyone on an alternative strategy at the moment. Strauss is out there just kind of making laps. There he is, just crossing the yard of bricks. He in about 4 laps is going to move himself up to P12 rather quickly. But everyone else is 18 laps into their current stint. Do we see anyone come in here right at the lap 20 mark, top it off, or get whatever fuel they need, get a fresh set of tires, and just really go for it? Or did they try to go late into the run as possible?
So that's where you kind of have to know whether or not you have teammates, buddies, or people who you can count on to work with you. The only way you're going to win by spending less time on pit road is that if you have a drafting or dancing partner out on the track. If you come in for just gas and don't put tires on the car, you've got to have someone with you. Otherwise, you're going to lose and bleed time every single lap that you're out there running by yourself. Sure, maybe you made up a second or 2 or 3 on pit road by doing the alternate strategy, but you're going to lose 0.3, 0.4, 0.5 of a second a lap, and then when they do catch you, they'll have fresher rubber, and they should be able to go wherever they want on the track and leave you in the dust. Another issue being is that if you're only pitting 2 cars, so for example, say you're Stedman and Lucas Santos, and you say, well, let's do what those 4 cars in front of us aren't doing. Let's pit right now, we'll get tires together and continue to work together, and hopefully we'll remove the deficit. You're just 2 cars, right? Those 4 cars in front of you will be faster, racing side by side, in a straight line, however they choose to do it, than you will be swap drafting.
Checking chat here. Freddie says
will be the first to blink.
Dan Inch, we'll take a look. Freddie says yo in chat. We say yo back. Julian says lifting is a sign of weakness.
Yo.
Julian says lifting is a sign of weakness, but I say it's only a sign of his weakness.
If lifting is a sign of weakness, consult your medical professional to see what they can do for you.
Here comes.
Maybe they get you on some testosterone, maybe some protein supplements.
Inch for his final stop of the day, down and away in the ALZ.org sponsored car. Today's race sponsor here at Indianapolis for the Indianapolis 200. And he's going to come out in front of the lead pack just a little ways. He should be pretty much by himself, though.
Stedman here also pit by himself. Now, see, Dan's strategy here might actually backfire. He's going to be close enough to where Silvazzi, O'Sullivan, Santos, and Christensen can maybe grab his draft before they pit, and that's, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10 of a second. That lead foursome will gain on.
Well,
Stedman.
Here comes Santos for his final stop of the season for what is probably going to be a driver's championship for the Brazilian. Make that 2 for the leaner energy squad between himself and teammate Rafi Eckert. Gets to his marks, locks it up a little bit before getting in there, but does hit his marks. And down and away. And I don't think he changed tires. I think he just went fuel only. I don't remember him going up on the jacks at all. No. Here we go. Watching the slow motion. No pneumatic jack action on this car. He is just going fuel only. Trying to... Go ahead.
We'll see if my prediction was correct about how much time he'll lose each lap without a drafting partner, and if his old tires will be able to defend the new tires behind.
And his pit stop was faster by about a half second than everyone else. So we'll see what a half second gets him here at Indianapolis. Timothy Bree, though, in the Sprite car, who has been battling out in the back with a lot of those guys very aggressively back there. Has brought the car to the front, so he's saved some fuel, but he's coming to pit road right now. Good run for him. This will turn the lead back.
Santos's gambit is not going to pay off.
No.
Christensen, Silvazzi, and O'Sullivan are all ahead of him.
Yep, and there we see them coming off pit road for their final stop. They're now in turn 3 on their out lap. And it is Silvazzi, O'Sullivan, Christensen, and Santos. Actually, Santos lost a spot because Christensen now is up one more. And I think it's going to come down on these 4. I do not see Stedman and Santos running them down. I think it's going to be this 4 that's going to battle it out for the win here at Indianapolis for the final race of Season 3. Real quick, concerning the IR18 Season 12 schedule, here it is. Of course, next race is their Indianapolis Grand Prix on August 10th, and then September 7th, which will be the same weekend that we kick it back off with Season 4 of the DW12 Iconic Series. They will have their 500-mile race. Clindy will be joining us in the booth along with Ryan Eric King to call that race. Then Nashville, Laguna Seca, Pocono, Kentucky, Phoenix, Detroit, and wrapping it up in Las Vegas right before Christmas.
So Timothy Bree has stayed on the racetrack longer than everyone else, and it paid off for him.
Yeah,
he's a catch the draft.
Yeah, he's right up there with Stedman and Santos. Moved himself up into a spot where he might get a top 5 out of this.
Yeah, he really made up a lot of time on pit road. Really well done there. I would expect the front 4 to play nice here until the closing stages.
Yep,
because they know that they've all got really good positions, all but guaranteed.
Yeah, you don't want to, and definitely don't want to wreck each other unless you're coming to the checkers. And there's Christensen to the inside of Santos. Santos going to go high, just ducking behind him, not lose a lot of time, stay in the draft. If you like what you see and like to be a part of future races of the VOR Iconic Series, click on the VOR Discord invite in the description and sign up today. It's also part of the channel. It's in the channel links, their Discord server. The car is free. It's part of your base iRacing package. Joining the league is free. All you need is a desire and the tracks on the schedule. So if you think you got what it takes to race with the VOR Iconic Series drivers, we encourage you to sign up today in time for Season 4, starting in September.
And
Winners.
DM me.
What's that?
I'll give you tips. I said feel free to DM me. I'll give you tips.
Yeah, he will. Yeah. You are a very good driving coach. And winners of the champions of the league actually get an automatic invite up into the IR18 series. Maybe we will see Santos up in the IR18 series next season. Although he says he really likes this car. Sometimes when you have a feeling for the car, it's just tough to leave it. Whereas Julian, the defending series champion coming into today, he was also up in the IR18 series as well. But if you're kind of just wanting to go the free route, just come in, join the series here, win the series, and then you'll get a free invite and free entry paid into the IR18 series for their next season, starting season 13 coming up. So that's how long VOR's been around. 13 seasons now, coming up to 13 seasons.
Show up on Saturdays, get your butt beat by the IAR guys instead of just the VOR guys and the Leader Energy guys, right? Silvazzi's going blow to blow here with the two VOR boys at the front of the pack.
Yeah, and this right now is a saving grace for Team VOR. Altena Autosport is that they got two drivers in the top 4. This should help them secure the drivers' championship, and don't really know what the drivers' points are. I kind of told Julian coming into this, I was like, the more concerning thing is the drivers' championship. Most people don't really care about the team championship, although they have been keeping track, but it has not been updated since Iowa. So I really don't know who's in contention for the team championship. But I would say if two AA cars finish in the top 4 versus the one of the Leader Energy cars, I would say that's probably going to bode well for the AA cars. Don't you think?
We'll just say whoever has the highest finishing car in this race gets it all. How about that? NASCAR style.
Right.
I don't mean to rant or ramble, but if there's one thing I could fix about the NASCAR championship system, it's that they would change the 10-race playoffs to have a 1-race wild card and a 3-race championship round. If they just switched it, it would be so much better. It would feel so much more legitimate.
I've never been a fan of the playoffs, but that should not shock you at all.
Oh, I mean, I haven't been a fan either, but we've at least kept the same system more or less for the last 10 years, which is kind of a welcome breath of consistency, even though it's not what I would prefer. It's better to be consistent than what we had for the years before that.
I know that the argument was the reason why they had the playoffs because Kansas had that championship where he just won one race and he basically just had a bunch of top 3, top 5s, and top 10s, and that powered his way to the championship. And to me, I see nothing wrong with winning the championship and not winning a race. I see nothing wrong, and it's been done before in IndyCar history. I talk about it all the time. The 1978 national championship was in USAC when USAC still was the sanctioning body of IndyCar. Tom Sneva won the IndyCar title that season, or they call it the national championship back then, by beating no wins, but by beating Allenser Sr., who had a bunch of wins, including the Triple Crown. The only time an IndyCar driver has ever won the Triple Crown, 1978, Allenser Sr. won it and lost the championship to a driver that didn't win a single race.
Did he finish like second and third a lot?
Yes, a ton.
Oh, yeah. At that point, it's so hard to argue against it.
Yeah, he had a ton of top 5s right in a row. Santos might have smacked the wall coming off of 4. But it might have been netcode as well. I think Santos is coming in from overseas. I think maybe Singapore. I'm not sure.
Lucas or Edson?
Lucas. Edson, we know where Edson is. He's down in Brazil. Of course, you were working the race with me last week when the entire country of Brazil lost their internet connection to iRacing. And both the Brazilian drivers...
Adriano! Robbed him!
Both the Brazilian drivers blipped out at the exact same time in that race.
They also need to write very strongly worded letters to their internet service provider.
If I can get it out of my mouth, Adriano had a rough race last night. He had another sub P20 finish. And that's not helping his start of the season there over in the ERL. He's one of their defending series champions. But we're getting down to the final, we call it the witching hour. We call it the pay windows open. We call it, business is picking up. Whatever you want to call it. We are getting down to the nitty gritty here. To the end of the Indy 200 as this group of 4 continuing to work together. We have only 6 laps to go.
Christensen's right where I want to be.
Yep.
He's still picking them up. And third place is probably the best place to be when the leaders are side by side. You can build a huge run and pass them both, hopefully. But he does have a teammate there, so I think he might work with O'Sullivan to try to get them a 1-2. We'll see what happens.
Well, let's ride with Christensen. I think Christensen's doing a great deal of rolling out of the throttle. Let's listen. Let's watch. He's grabbing a gear. He's going to try to follow. He's going to try to follow O'Sullivan through. Nope. Where does he want to go on this one? They're spread out through the backstretch. Even though there's no access to tools here, sorry about that. Christensen's still very active in the cockpit, changing gears. He's backing out of it. He had a good run.
Yeah.
Santos on the outside, so you gotta take note of that. Oh, there might have been contact there. There might have been slight contact to the front wing. Because I think the front wing of Santos' car, the left front end plate actually changed color. But Santos going to go 3 wide into 3. Let's watch and ride. So Christensen rolls out of it. He's like, oh, no, that's okay. Santos decided it is time to go.
Lavazzi's going to do the same move here.
Christensen looking to the outside. He now has a wide open spot. He's going to try to send it in the outside of Savazzi. Got to watch the high line and 1. That wall on exit's going to come up to you rather quickly. Santos going to try to win this 200 and win the championship all in the same race. All in the same one fell swoop. We're going to go 3 wide. We're going to 4 wide down the backstretch at some point, I think, right here. Nope, Christensen backs out. The best seat in the house is right here, folks. We'll just continue to watch this battle. 3 wide for the lead, going through 3. Santos on the bottom, O'Sullivan in the middle.
And hit O'Sullivan's left rear.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And Silvazzi on the high side. 3 wide down the front stretch. Nose 2, and now we're going to go 4 wide. Nope, he's going to tuck back in for Christensen. 3 to go. 3 cars. It's like a parade lap, but all done at 200 miles per hour. And O'Sullivan rolled out of it. He probably heard you're in the middle, and I would roll out of it too at that point. But now he needs to get back on it. He's going to run down Santos. Santos goes to the white line to try to defend. It's going to make entry into 3 very shallow. So Sullivan's not quite clear yet. Could not come down.
Well, he could have. He just chose not to.
And now, what does Christensen do? Does he decide that he's going to stick it in there and make this a 4-car battle? Coming to 2 to go. No, he's rolling out of it, so he's timing this last run. We'll continue to ride with him. The battle is at the front. He's got to run. He's going to go to the inside to the grass. Oh, Santos did a little bit of a fade that caused him to check. 3 wide, all cars in ahead of him. 3 wide going into 3. We're coming to the white flag. We're going to ride. We're going to stick with this. We're going to ride right with him to the finish. Santos has a big lead, but the thing is, a big lead is going to be a big run for the guys behind him. Here comes O'Sullivan. Here comes Salvazzi. Here comes Christensen. 3 wide, 4 wide, and 2x2 actually going into 1 into the south short chute. Going through turn 2 in front of the Riley Children's Hospital Suites. Down the backstretch one more time, separating Brickyard Crossing Golf Course. Here comes Christensen to the inside. Not going to have enough room. 3 wide, Salvazzi has a lead up top, but he's going to lose it because of the momentum to the bottom 2 grooves. Still 3 wide, going to the north short chute. Into the 4th turn one more time. Salvazzi's out of it. He got tapped. Here comes Christensen. Is he going to be able to sneak through at this one? Getting a big run. Here he goes to the outside. Oh my God, I think it was Christensen, was it?
It's so close!
Santos!
Oh my goodness! Sullivan almost pulled it off, leading nothing but the last inch of the race, only to fall short by a fraction of a wing.
Santos wins by 0.003 of a second over Christensen, who got the run. He just ran out of room. And Santos wins the race and wins the Season 3 championship. He is your #1 driver for next season starting September.
I'm catching my breath, Gary. That was insane.
Anson Santos, your winner and series champion. John Christensen, almost a second Indy win for him. Just missed it by 0.003 of a second. That's even closer than Caleb Bensey's victory over Robert Malechka and Jason Brophy at the ERL race that I called in May. That's even closer. That was 0.004. This is 0.003. I mean, either way, it's a blink of an eye that you can barely measure. Liam O'Sullivan third by 0.009.
Yeah, I think Christensen beat O'Sullivan by the amount that Santos beat Christensen.
Salvazzi fourth. Timothy Bree, he battled his way to 5th on a great last run and a great last pit stop. Props to him. His first top 5 in the series. Dave Stedman, last week's winner, comes home with another top 10 in 6th. Lucas Santos, last week on the podium in the IndyCar series. He is 7th, a top 10 here in the Iconic series. Robert Sadler returning to IndyCars with a top 10 in P8. Joe Moe in 9th. And Dan Inch in the ALZ.org sponsor car in 10th.
Do we have time for a replay? Do you want to watch the last 2 corners?
I think we can do that. Shane Coker, 11th in his debut here. Donskoy, 12th. Altena is 13th. I don't think Strauss ever got to passing Altena. I'm not sure why, but he finished 14th. Craig Forsyth, 15th. Dozhenko, 16th. Matty Sinclair, 17th. And Bonnie, 18th. That's your 18-car field. All right, let's see if we can actually go back in time. And I'm not quite sure what lap we're on here, so let's move it forward. Not the white flag lap. But we're pretty close. I know we are here. Yeah. Again, not the white flag lap. Again, not the white flag. Trying to find one with Barney here waving the white flag. Here we go, white flag lap. Side by side, top two right there through turn two. Now we're going to go 3 wide down the backstretch. Christensen wanted to set up 4 wide, just wasn't going to happen there. So he tucks back behind Salvazzi and his teammate. We're going to go 3 wide in through 3. And I think there's contact here. Yeah, a little bit of netcode contact between Salvazzi and O'Sullivan. And maybe do I have a better angle of the... Nope, I don't have a better angle of the... That's going to be about it right there.
I sent a still in Discord to you if you want to share that. Then for 5th, Bree did what Christensen couldn't, passing both Stedman and the other Santos to win the fight for 5th.
Yeah, I got it on super slow-mo. Let's take a look here. Standings are updated as requested and official too, says Julian. So we'll take a look here at the standings and we'll go to the interview room momentarily. But we do, we'll look at the standings here real quick as we watch this finish unfold. That gives me time to actually do this. And yeah, Santos wins by 6 points over Julian, so 158 to 152. Delchenko finishes 3rd. With 120 points. Dan Inch, 4th. A great top 5 for him. And the sponsor car, 91 points. And here it is. There it is. Right there. And I'll bring you the browser image that Clindy sent me. There it is. I would actually make a nice, like a banner or something for the league. Right there at the Yard of Bricks. Very cool. Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, let's go ahead and get into the interview room because we do have some anxious people that do want to talk. And let's get in here real quick and see who is all available. Let's go ahead and bring up Liam O'Sullivan, who probably doesn't finish like he feels like he finished 3rd, but it is what it is. Let's bring him on up. Hey, Liam, we got you here in the booth. We're just kind of reviewing the finish there. So close. I know it doesn't feel like you finished 3rd, but the reality of it all is by 0.009 of a second, you can't even blink your eye that fast. You're 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, that could have gone anyway. I was trying to predict it. I thought I was actually going to get more of a side draft coming off of turn 4 because, I mean, I'd been the person coming off of turn 4 the most, spent the whole race swap drafting, whereas some people have been riding around in the back. So, if anything, I was kind of had a rehearsal for that finish about 60 times that race coming off of turn 4. And it was, again, it's, if you move the start-finish line maybe 5 feet any other way, backwards, forwards, or left, you'd have 3 different winners. So, yeah, it's annoying to come away with 3rd, but it's one of them where it's kind of like, you're 3 wide, everyone's kind of done what they wanted to do, now potluck who's the winner out of us, and that's shown by, like, I mean, how can you control we're less than 100th difference between us all, like, that could have gone any other way. We're talking like if I had fractions more of a slipstream, I would have won, or anything would have changed that. So I think I did everything I could it didn't work out. Like I said, it could have been a sudden gust of wind or anything could have helped me there to win that. But it's the fact we even got there 3 wide as well is amazing. I mean, I think that's a testament to all the drivers. Not just that, I think we had 1 caution in the race, which again is pretty amazing for the DW12 series.
Clindy, go right ahead.
So, Liam, you spent a week or so in Italy. You come back to Indianapolis, and you get back to being on the podium. Did taking a step away, refreshing and relaxing, maybe reset your mind and get you ready for the next championship fight, starting with our next trip in the VOR Iconic Series?
Yeah, I spent the whole week like planning about how I'm gonna win the champion. It was it was a nice holiday away. Obviously, like I was going to miss out on Gateway in a way because I think I would have had a great shot at winning that race. And same, like I'm going to miss Indy GP tomorrow in the main series. So if anything, this was a kind of a practice race for Indy coming up in the next month for the main series when we go run there, because again, I just missed out in that race last season. So it's again practicing that swapping and stuff at an oval, which I've always been strong at Indy through my results, not just in this series, that I can clearly, something clicks with me at Indy. So again, it's about putting it on pole, dominating the race, and then whatever happens at the end happens, and put it in as much control and possibility that I can win the race.
Well, you definitely executed there today.
Yeah.
I just didn't quite fall your way at the end. Any friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs, etc. you want to get while you have the mic?
Say hello to mum, dad, grandparents as usual, always watching and supporting. Alteno Autosport, again, for running me and all the support Julian gives me. Also want to thank John there at the end, being kind of teammate there at the end. Nice to see him up there. Also want to thank Alex Boney with IFS Financial Planning for helping out funding this series to allow us to all continue these 3 series, and along with Alzheimer's Association for coming in and supporting this race, and again Dan Ench for supplying that help and support for the series.
We are nothing without our sponsors. Thanks for your time, and thanks for kicking so much butt today, Liam. We'll see you when we kick off next season.
Yeah, you too.
All right, let's go down and bring up John Christensen. Well, John, if it was another 10 feet, I would imagine. Maybe 20 feet for sure. The finish line would have been moved down a little bit further that much. I think it would have been yours for a second Indy win. But, hey, not too bad, not too shabby for someone to just kind of... I think you drove probably the most patient race out of everybody. You were just letting the action happen in front of you, letting everything unfold, and then when the final 5 laps got here, you're like, okay, let's race.
Yeah, it was one of those where I was just kind of like, at the beginning of the race, just take it easy, worry about fuel, worry about tires. There was also a couple people in that first pack at the beginning that were kind of all over the place. They were also in the group of 7, and I don't know if you saw it, but when that crash happened, I swerved so much, had to slam on the brakes. That one got really close, but yeah, I was just at the end. I was trying to hold off Edson the best I could. So I'd kind of like try to drive in between the 2 cars, try to get both of their drafts and cover off both. But he just went by. So then at that point, I was just like, it's gonna be a Freedom 100 finish. I just gotta figure out where to put my car. And I nearly did. I think I just washed up a little too much on turn 4 and couldn't get just enough speed. Like I think I had the speed, but I fell back a little too much. So
Well, when you go back
a little bit better.
When you go back and watch the race, it's going to be a familiar point of view. I think we rode with you for the last 5 laps because of everything happening directly in front of you, and we almost rode it straight to victory lane with you right there as you on the high side had a heck of a run. But let's talk about that incident mid-race that took out, I think, involved Julian. I think it also had both the Russian drivers were involved in that one as well. And also Craig was involved in that one. I think kind of with you hitting the brakes on the bottom, if you go back and watch the replay, you were kind of shielding Craig from the sight of Julian. So Julian went high as you were braking down low. And then as he goes to pass you, then Craig pops out and smacks Julian. And it was just most unfortunate because the timing was really, really bad. But it was mentioned by Clindy that you were on top of things. You were really making the moves to kind of avoid it. But that was very hectic there, right there in that corner with everyone bouncing off each other.
Yeah, I didn't even see how it started, but knowing how some of those guys were racing, I just had to keep, like, my senses were heightened. And I was about to drive up the track, like, last second, and I probably would have hit Craig, so I had to, like, slam on the brakes at the bottom. Unfortunate that Julian got taken out, but it was probably either one of us, or maybe both of us, who knows.
I'm telling you, John, you can give Julian some lessons in how to brake, and maybe he'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that crash, I was starting to feel like at the end I was about to see a double. So if you notice at the end of a race, I kind of started to back off whenever they went free wide, because it's like, if all three of them take each other out, I win.
Right,
so,
right.
I saw
as long as I'm
a
not
couple
in
of times on the backstretch, you had put your left sides almost all the way down on the grass and then thought better of it. What would it take for you to maybe make that move? If you were needing to win the championship, would you stick it in there?
I mean, I don't think I've really been, like, good with the championship this year. I've just kind of had the rough last couple races, both here and IR18. So I'm more thinking of wins, and I really kind of wanted to get that win. So I was really considering it, but I'd rather just take, at the time, 4th than get penalty points and have to deal with that later. So maybe if it was, like, the last lap, I might have sent it, but there was still a few laps left. Just take it easy.
Well, shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. A good day for the team. I think you secured the team championship with you guys finishing 2 on the podium here. We got to get the Santos here next for winning the championship in the race. But give you your chance and give you your flowers here, sir, because you definitely deserved it. I think probably drove, as I mentioned, the most patient race, the most Gary Strat race that I thought of people going on out there. Just let everything develop in front of you and just be there at the end, and that's how you do it. So go right ahead.
Yeah, again, I guess thank you to Julian for teaching me that strat a couple months ago. It's helped me with my super speedways on just keeping it clean. Last time I forgot to thank my mom, and she was very upset. So this time I will thank her.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Mom, I don't know if you're watching because you're probably at work or driving. So, but I will thank you anyways. And then my dad is definitely watching. And then yeah, Liam read through the sponsors, but I'm just gonna hit him again. If you get a double podium, just read through him again. It's double the support.
Do it.
Tim Merrick from 4D Racewear. Check out their sim racing shoes at 4dracewear.com. They also got some gloves and stuff. Pretty cool. I've looked through the shop before. Alexander Boney from IFS Personal Financial Planning. To get you started with your financing plans, message him at alex@ifspfp.com. And then Dan Ensch, my teammate, also had a pretty solid day, made it through to the end with the ALZHEIMER'S Association. I do recommend donating. It's a very helpful cause in fighting Alzheimer's. And then one final, I would just like to have not really shout out and more of a condemning. Last night I went to Waffle House and I had some sour milk, and it might have given me some food poisoning, mild food poisoning. So I got a second with food poisoning, but I'm probably gonna have to go after this and just drink a lot of water.
Well, I'm about to say the last thing you might want to do today is actually drink milk after winning in Indianapolis. So maybe the win, maybe the not getting the win is a blessing in disguise. Well,
I wouldn't have drinking orange juice. But
oh no.
water.
I firmly believe that when he drank the orange juice, he cursed the remainder of his time at Indianapolis and possibly his career. And that's a whole other discussion we can get into about Emerson Fittipaldi. But congratulations on the P2. Nice run. Very proud of you. And we will catch you when the next season starts up here in September.
Yeah, excited. Thank you.
All right, and let's bring up Edson Santos. I'm going to make sure I grab the right Santos here. So we got two of them. We got Edson and Lucas there. So bring Edson here. Edson Santos, congratulations. Double champion today. You won the race, and you are the series champion by 10 points over Julian for Season 3. Congratulations, sir.
Hello, guys. Hello everyone. Well, once again here.
Well, not a bad season. I mean, you won 3 races out of 5 races this season. I mean, this definitely was your championship to win or lose, especially when Julian got taken out there at the midway point. All you really had to do was just bring the car home, and you did more than that. You're like, I'm going for the win.
Yeah, it's good. So it happened in the last week as well, but I was not smart. I'm gonna take some moment to to talk about Gateway. So what a race! It was fun. Really cool pack race. I think I've mentioned it here before. I really don't like this kind of setup, but so I'm challenged myself anyway. In the beginning, I was trying to save fuel, waiting to see what the race could bring me, what opportunities I would have.
Mm-hmm.
And when the yellow came, I was already certain that it would be not a way to save fuel, to make one last pit stop, because could be this the situation in the beginning. But then the issue becomes the tires. The tires was the concern for me, because I wanted to continue to save fuel and fuel up as little as possible in my pit stop. Not change tires, and saving tires enough to try to stick to inside line to win. That's exactly what happened, because when was left like 5 or 6 laps, I don't remember, I thought, so it's time to go there, and I got the P1 in the end. There were some attempts to squeeze me, but I managed to hold on. I think it was precisely because I saved the tires, it could kept the inside line. I took my foot off the accelerator a little bit, managed to stay in the inside line, and that's how the victory came in this week. To recover myself, the thing and the bad decisions I took in the last week, because Craig and I were supposed to be fighting for the victory in the end, but with my understeering, I simply ruined my race and his race too.
It wouldn't be the first time that drivers have come together on a racetrack. So, Clindy, I'll turn it over to you. But I think we failed to mention here, even more impressive about this win is that he did it on double stinted tires at the end of the race, Clindy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to know that you respect your competitors enough to lift in order to give them a fair fight to the end. A couple of times I saw you throw a little bit of a half block on John Christensen going down the backstretch. What would you have done if you stuck it in there anyway?
Actually, I was thinking the correct moment to go ahead. So I had some concerned moments there, some blocks and some changing lines, but I was focused and to overtake and go to P2, P1 in the right moments with saved tires enough to maintain the P1 until the end. So we have to be patient and to make some decisions in the right moment.
always good to have a race car driver who likes to think ahead and be objective focused. So, parabéns on your win today.
Okay, good Portuguese.
Thank you. And hopefully, with the championship in the bag as well, you got 2 big W's today. Hopefully, next season is just as kind to you. Do you have any sponsors, friends, family, or shout-outs you'd like to get while you have the microphone?
Yeah, sure. I'd just like to send a warm hug for all my teammates in Brazil, or my team, Linear Energy Racing, the companies that sponsor the team, the Linear Energy, Dr. Norberto Martins, and EJ Construções. So warm hug for all of them, and some of them are watching the broadcast now.
Well, that's 2 championships now for Linear Energy. Rafi had the first one. You got the third one for season 3 here. We got season 4. So might we see another championship for the Linear Energy squad? We shall see starting in September. Well, congratulations, sir. Well earned. You dominated the season with wins, but never really quite had the domination in terms of points because Julian was always so close. But in terms of really how you won this championship, I will say you did it in dominating fashion by not only winning the championship, but winning the signature race at Indianapolis. Congratulations. I know you're very happy. Please go celebrate and enjoy yourself. We'll see you in a couple weeks when the W12s return back here at Indianapolis for start of season 4.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations. Take care. And as our new champion, Edson Santos. Well, Clindy, we saw a Freedom 100 finish. And if you're not familiar with the Freedom 100, that's the old Indy Lights race they used to have before, or actually on Carb Day at Indianapolis during the month of May. They would race on Carb Day, and all their finishes, every single time, all their finishes were 3 wide, 2 wide, just like this. And really, the picture I'm showing you on screen is not indicative of really what happened. Here's how it looks. Let me get this graphic off and move back to really the center car here, which is Liam, and that shows you all 3 of them right there at the line and pretty much the order they cross. But Clindy, even though it was a short championship season, it was an exciting championship season, which allows us now to move on to season 4 now. Which will start off at Indianapolis here September 4th. But thoughts on the race, thoughts on the championship, thoughts going forward, and then we'll get on out of here.
Yeah, I'm just glad that the tire temperature and track temperature didn't play into any more chaos or carnage that we saw today. One little speck of aggression and one little speck of netcode caused 2 incidents we saw that took out cars from competing today. Otherwise, as always, this iconic series has put on a really good show. Julian's done a much improved job, in my opinion, of making these DW12s races close and as comfortably as they can. He's come a long way from that gateway setup I saw, which I think was my 2nd time on the mic for the series. So I look forward to the next season and all that it'll bring. And thanks as always for having me in the booth, and thanks to our partners to help keep us on the air.
Yes, these cars are fun to drive if everyone gives them a chance. And if you like what you saw, definitely sign up. But very exciting race. But we'll give everyone back their Friday afternoons here. But be sure to join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for the VOR IR18 IndyCar Series, as we will head to the Indy GP road course for their GP round. And then all together back again September 4th. The IR18s and the DW12s will be on the oval for another doubleheader weekend starting there in September. So that's it for today. Once again, your podium for the ALZ.org Indianapolis 200 from Indianapolis is Edson Santos, your winner. John Christensen, just by the narrowest of margins, finishes in 2nd. And Liam O'Sullivan, just by the narrowest of margins, finishes in 3rd. And once again, congratulations to our Series 3 champion, Edson Santos, for winning the championship. And he will get to wear the number 1 next season if he chooses to do so. And he now joins his teammate Rafi Eckert as champions here of the VOR Iconic Series. Join Clindy and myself again on September 6th, actually, I think is what it should be. September 6th, am I right there? Let's look here. Let's bring up the schedule one more time. Season 4. Yeah, September 6th. September 6th. So join Clindy and myself again September 6th, 2024 for round 1 of season 4 of the VOR Iconic Series as the teams and drivers come right back here to kick off the season in Indianapolis with another 200-miler. Hopefully that race will be just as exciting. Coverage, as always, will start approximately 3 p.m. Eastern. Again, it's 3:00 p.m. Eastern. And remember, for the correct time in your area, you can always find everything here on YouTube at youtube.com/VelocityOR. That's youtube.com/VelocityOR, or just type keyword search Velocity Online Racing. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support us with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below and let us know you thought of today's race and enjoyed today's coverage. Support us by smashing like in the video. And I want to thank everybody that participated in chat. Thank you very much. If you're new, click subscribe while you're at it. Hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more Velocity Online Racing's other iRacing programming, including action from their IR18 Sprint and, of course, the IndyCar Series, which will be tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern right here in Indianapolis. The Indy 200 is brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and ALZHEIMER'S. The Alzheimer's Association leads the way to end Alzheimer's and other dementia, by accelerating global research, driving risk reduction and early detection, and maximizing quality care and support. But they can't end Alzheimer's without your help. To learn more and to donate, go to alz.org. The link is in the description. Very important that you go there and donate today. For the VOR Iconic Series, their naming rights are paid for by IFS Personal Financial Planning. The IFS Personal Financial Planning specializes in helping their clients make the most out of their savings with holistic financial planning that is tailored to their specific needs over the course of their lifetimes. On average, they've been working with their clients for over 20 years, helping them navigate complexities of investments, the uncertainties of markets, and believe me, they've been really uncertain here the last week or so, and the ever-changing legislative landscape. To learn more, contact Alexander Bonney at alex@isfpfp.com. And of course, you will find that email in the description. Use it today. Track cams for this race provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. To get the most out of your iRacing experience, check with Whiplash Sim Cams for your iRacing replays and cams. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter. The links are in the description. For business inquiries, to learn more about Velocity Racing, Online Racing, and to see what they do and how they do it, visit VelocityOnlineRacing.com. Like them on Facebook or follow them on Twitter. So for Clindy, everyone at Velocity Online Racing, I'm Gary Gotzo saying to all, happy Friday, and thanks for watching. And to all our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, come home safe. Once again, congratulations to our Series 3 champion, Edson Santos, for winning the championship. You can catch all of us right here, September 6th at Indianapolis again for the next race of the Velocity Online Racing Iconic Series. We'll see ya.